Hello, I am Paula Bennett and welcome to my New Zealand Herald podcast, Ask Me Anything. The one thing I've learnt in life is it's never too late to learn something new. So on this podcast, I talk to people from all walks of life to hear about how they got to where they are and get some advice and guidance on some of life's biggest questions. My guest today is a familiar face on the telly, long-time Lotto presenter. She's been on Shorty Street, Wheel of Fortune, Siona's Wedding, Netflix's The Royal Treatment, Dancing with the Stars, where she was outright robbed, to be frank. In the last few years, Sonia Gray has turned to documentary to share insight into the lives of neurodivergent children and their families through her documentary, Kids Wired Differently, and her podcast, No Such Thing as Normal. I'm exhausted reading this, Sonia. She has become a huge advocate for the neurodivergent community. The podcast has been a huge hit. Congratulations so big time on recently being named Best History and Documentary Podcast in the 2024 New Zealand Radio and Podcast Awards. I have got the wonderful Sonia Gray. Hello.
Hello.
I'm exhausted with everything you're doing.
I love that you said Dancing with the Stars because that was, God, a couple of minutes and then I was gone.
You were robbed. We all know
thank
that.
You, Paula, yeah. Still hurts.
It's funny, eh? That sort of thing. It's like, yeah, it's kind of weird. I get asked to do some things occasionally and I go, I think I'm past ever being voted on again.
I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand reality TV. I thought, I'll just go really hard and be a really good dancer and have fun. Yeah. But it's okay.
It's the campaigning in the background, is it? In the kind of...
It's complicated. It's complicated.
Would you do it again? Would you do reality TV again?
No. It's a strange thing. It's a strange environment. You're never quite sure what's going on.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, look, people ask me on that Treasure Island all the time and I just go, what part of you thinks that I want to sleep in an uncomfortable bed in really horrible weather without Chardonnay and then be second-guessing the people that I'm hanging out with?
I am exactly the same. Yeah, that would be my worst nightmare. Cold, no food, no Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And yeah, like who's with me, who's with alliances. It's just, it's terrifying.
Yeah, no, it's not my thing at all. I think we've warmed up because I normally do some quick fires, but I feel like we've warmed up anyway.
Yeah, let's go. I know you need to get back to work.
Yeah, I need to keep a real job. Which is quite good, really. Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty of neurodiversity, because I'm absolutely wrapped, can I just again say congratulations on the award for your podcast?
Oh, thank
How does it feel? Because you put a lot into it. It's a lot of work.
Oh my God, so much. I didn't actually know how much work it would be. Lots of all-nighters. Yeah, that was lovely last week to get that award. And I actually, when they announced it, my jaw dropped, like physically jaw dropped. I was just like, oh, what? And it's such a lovely feeling to get. I mean, that's not why you do it. And we all go, oh, awards don't matter. But it is lovely to get acknowledged.
Yeah, to be recognised for the work that you're doing and it's popular and you know that people are listening and learning. And so all that work is worth it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about the award, but there is a recognition, which is a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, and I think at the moment, because I'm deep into series 2 and it's really, really hard again, and it's like, what do you include, what do you not, how do you balance everything out? It's nice to have that, to know you're on the right track.
Yeah. And we should plug it, right? So No Such Thing as Normal.
Yes.
So they can go back and listen to season 1.
Season 1, yes. It's
Anywhere.
all still very relevant. Yep. And season 2, first episode is July the 6th. I hope I've got that right.
That's okay.
July the 6th.
Sounds good. So we are going to talk more about advice around neurodiversity and all the rest of it in the second half. But how hard was it for you to go public, and I suppose for those other children to go public? I mean, your series. Did you think about putting yourself out there like that?
Yes, but no. When we were in the thick of it with my daughter, and I didn't think we'd survive it. I thought, if by chance we do survive this, I have to do something. because here I am in my nice 4-bedroom villa in Mount Eden. We have all these advantages other people don't have, and we're still sinking. So how are other people doing it?
Yeah.
And they're not. So it was almost wasn't a choice. It was like, it was a drive. It had to be my mission.
Yeah.
And it still is. It's difficult because it's about my family, so I have to be really careful around that. And my daughter's very open, but now that she's 15, she doesn't want with the podcast, she doesn't want to be in that, and that's totally fine. So I check with her all the time. How do you feel about me mentioning this or mentioning that? So
because it's not just your story to tell, right? It's yours and it's your family's, and it's
But she's not ashamed of it at all. She does. I don't think we've tried to right through go, your brain is incredible, because it is.
Yeah.
And she's surrounded by friends who are all got their own little neurodivergencies.
Yeah.
So, I think kids are much better at difference these days, but we're the ones running the show and we're still stuck in, we understand that you're dyslexic, but you still have to follow the rules and we'll help you be more normal.
Yeah.
We'll help
Isn't
you be
that
more normal.
awful? Even saying it out loud, just seems so harsh. How is she now? So she's what, 15?
Oh my God, she's touching all the wood,
yes,
Paula.
Yes.
She's great. And I've got to say, caveat there, our normal is very different to other people's normal. So there's a lot that we don't do, and good for us is probably just normal for other people. So I was just talking to her this morning actually, and I said, Nez, your attendance rate at school is 91%. And she was like, is it, Mum? And I said, yeah, that delights me, because this is a kid that, she's never been anywhere close to that. Like last year, barely at school, was hospitalised for a week with very severe OCD. Just so many things over the years have meant school is really challenging for her. But she's found her place now. And I never thought we'd get to this point.
Wow. And you went to Europe, did you?
Yeah, we did. Her and I.
That seems huge.
I said to her, I'm so happy you're coming with me. And I said, you know what? We're going to Europe. Even if we just sit in the hotel room, that's fine. We've gone to Europe. But I didn't follow through on that, did I? I was like, we're going to go to Ibiza, where the wedding is, and then we'll go to Nice, and we'll go to Barcelona, and we'll go to Paris. And because, when are we going to get back here? And it was too much.
Yeah.
It was way too much. And so I learnt from that. But, I've got to still remember that even though she's coping very well and life is still really hard for her, she feels the world in a really intense way. So any change, we've got a lot of bright lights in the studio, that would be quite difficult for her to block that out. That little noise, can you hear that noise?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's trying to block that out.
Yeah.
So you travel, there's a whole lot of new stuff like that.
Wow.
So, you're always learning.
Yeah. And we always will, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of why I do this podcast. It's like, as I say, you never let's keep learning. How boring would it be? Hey, your TV show My Family Mystery is back early July as well. Fascinating, by the way. So for those that haven't seen it, give us a snapshot of what it is.
Well, actually, this is a new series. So last year we did one called Passengers, and that was slightly different. This time with My Family Mystery, New Zealanders bring me a taonga, some sort of treasure in their family, an object, and that's the beginning of the mystery. They have a question for me. They want to know, who was this person, or where did these medals come from, or, it's really varied. It's been such a great ride.
Gosh, it'd be interesting.
God, it's so
and emotional for people, I imagine.
Mainly me.
Yeah.
I cried so much. I can't believe how much I cried. We've got a spy story. Like, one of the stories was my mother a Nazi spy?
Wow.
It's just really I was just blown away. I'm so excited about the series. It's going to be amazing. Okay. I've learned so much about DNA.
When you're doing another one, give me a call because I reckon I've got a couple of real goodies.
Have you?
Yeah, that I don't know if they're true or not. And, so it just would be really... So, we could go right back to, like, King Tawhio. There's, the legend of that is that he went and stole a princess and that's my ancestor.
And you whakapapa back there.
Yeah. So that's quite... Because that's wasn't unusual. Well, I know it sounds awful, but, actually kidnapping.
No, yeah. Okay, this is fascinating. I'm just making mental notes on this.
And then I've got my grandmother's story, which I never quite understood which bits of it are
Great.
true.
Question is, though, Paula, would you come onto the show? Would you bring your object to me?
Yeah, well, I have to find an object is what I'm thinking.
No, we do that. We'll find one.
Yeah, there will
starting
be something.
Point. Yeah, it just needs to be a photo or a...
yeah. No, I reckon we've got some goodies.
Whole series too.
Because everyone's got something, hey?
Yeah, they do. Some of them in the series are quite profound. There was some shocks. There's some, yeah. It's very interesting going with someone on a journey that's so personal. And I think, as the host, my role was to carry them. But it's a lot. I can't prepare them for what we'll find.
Well, I think we need more of this kind of TV. Are you hopeful? Because we're all worried at the moment that we're not going to tell enough Kiwi stories and we're not going to see enough of us on TV, if you like. Do you have concerns around it?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, a lot of my colleagues have lost their jobs recently, friends. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know.
Well, New Zealand On Air and everything have got a responsibility to keep telling our stories. So I hope that we see them.
And they do. New Zealand On Air are amazing, and thank goodness we have them. But we just probably need to turn our tellies on.
Yeah.
Hey, we can moan and groan, but if we don't turn them on and watch what's there, then,
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, we're going to take a quick break because I am dying to get back and get into all things neurodiversity. Okay, we are back with Sonia Gray and ahead of season 2 of her podcast, No Such Thing as Normal. And we're going to look at advice around a whole bunch of different areas of neurodiversity. It's been a few years now since you went public with your own ADHD. Do people still talk to you about it?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I'm kind of really cool with it, but I understand that for a lot of people who do have a neurodivergent diagnosis like ADHD, autism, dyslexia, it's very hard for them to be open about it. So I sort of feel a responsibility to talk about it in a positive way and just grow that awareness that it's a real thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what people still struggle with. It's like, well, really, well, I lose my keys. And it's like, it's not just about losing things. I mean, a lot of it is. And a lot of it is about being late and being disorganised. But if it were just that, then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't, I've sort of diagnosis.
Well, let's leap right in because Tori Whānau has come out in the last few weeks and that good on her and that's where I'm at. But I just couldn't get over, I made the mistake of kind of switching on the radio and there it was again, is it even real? It's just an excuse. It's, and it was so negative. And then I just went down that bad rabbit hole of reading some of the comments and things, which I just shouldn't have done.
No, you can't do that, but I do it the same thing.
Yes, but I was getting so angry not just even for her, but, how dare you criticise her for her personal journey here? Go for politics, go for decisions. That's what we put ourselves up for. But actually, and it's still there, Sonia.
It is still there. I guess it's because you can't see it, Well, sometimes you can, but you can't see it. Also, it's environmental, if that makes sense. So for me with ADHD, if I'm doing something I love, I am focused as all hell. If it's something that's just not that interesting to me, even if I have to do it, I'm just drawn away to other things. I'm just sort of, that's just a general example. So people are like, well, you can do it sometimes. or, to their kids. Well, you can do it in that situation. Why can't you focus in this situation? And I think that's where we get that kind of, is it really a thing? And are people just medicating their kids? And is Tori Whānau making it an excuse for the fact that she's just had a few issues lately? It is a real thing. And I guess that's why I'm doing this mahi, because I'm trying to find a way, and it's always hard to change society's views because they're very, people like to stick to what they believe, that this is not just people being lazy or weird or copping out or not being able to follow rules. We're born like this. We're needed, It's like you need different ways of thinking to just advance the world.
Yeah. And love the differences, right? And I think, when I watched, Kids Wired Differently and listened to some of the podcasts, it is, being honest and open about some of the challenges. And some of the challenges are big, right? So if there's people out there listening right now and their children are at, you certainly highlighted some of the violence that kind of can go with it, that absolutely antisocial behaviour. I did think for you being so well recognised, I thought, gosh, it must have been embarrassing at times, particularly in the earlier years.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's so interesting. I never really thought that. It was just embarrassing because I had this quote-unquote out-of-control kid that was in the supermarket pulling things down or, tearing up library books in the library or whatever. And people do not respond well to that.
No.
You
control that child.
Yeah. You're going to need to pay for that library book. And I'm crying because it's not just my kids torn up a library book. It's like, what the frick is going on?
Yeah.
I cannot, everything I do is not working. And so now, I wish I had known now what I know then. And there's a couple of really key things.
Yep.
One is these meltdowns that we see, this antisocial behaviour, it is not a choice. It's a physiological response to a threat. So, for example, my daughter, the world sensory stuff for her is intense.
Yep.
So if she's in a mall and she's had a long day at school and something goes wrong, they give her an ice cream and it's slightly different. If there's enough things have gone wrong, her body just shuts down, and that can look like it can look just like a shutdown, or it can be throwing the ice cream across the room. Sometimes she doesn't even remember.
Yeah,
well, she didn't even remember. But what the outside world sees is a mother that can't control their kid. So the thing.
So first advice there is understanding
that. Even though it's really hard for you as a parent or for the outside world to understand, but this is not a choice. This is a kid that is so emotionally dysregulated. We might not get as emotionally dysregulated with the same set of circumstances, but we're not in their brain. So that's the leap we've got to make.
Yeah.
What I wish that I'd known is that my own stress and anxiety around it, which is really hard not to have.
When you're like, pretty normal.
Basically, I was going, how am I going to keep my kid out of jail?
Yeah.
And
safe.
And safe. And and other people safe.
Yeah.
Her sister safe. All those things. My stress fed that because this is a kid that feels everything and I'm her mother. Even if I'm trying to smile and look happy, she's feeling that, my dysregulation.
Yeah, because she's hypersensitive, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
She's hypersensitive. She feels everything, but all kids do. And the biggest change I noticed, we went to all the psychologists, psychiatrists, OTs, behavioural therapists, everything you can think of, I tried. The biggest change was when I learnt how to stay calm no matter what was going on. Now, people will be listening to this and going, how can you? I can't do that.
Yeah.
And it's a journey.
Yeah.
But a lot of her issues were around food, and that's really stressful when your kid's not eating or only eating 3 or 4 foods.
Yeah.
But when it was like, okay, let's just accept this. That's what it is at the moment. People might go, she's eating chocolate fingers, Pizza Hut pizza and Cocoa Pops. What the hell are you doing as a mother? I've got to shut that out and go, let's create a dinner time that is calm. Let's not worry about the food, what food goes in and out. Let's just make this environment as calm as possible. She will be irrational. She'll be like, oh, no, I needed it on that plate and I needed... That's not her making my life a misery. That's her just expressing that this is really hard for me.
Yeah.
So making that shift, staying on her team was the most helpful thing. The problem is you can do that, but then the outside world, your community, the teachers, all the people aren't quite there yet. So that's what makes it tricky. And I know a lot of people find that their extended family just can't understand it. Grandparents find it particularly
really
it
hard,
very,
right?
very difficult to sort of, it's like she can't be allowed to get away with that. She needs to eat whatever everyone else is eating. And it just doesn't, yes, maybe, but that doesn't help. Well, what are we trying to achieve?
And there's a spectrum, right? I mean, we talk about the spectrum, but for parents out there, when I saw Inez and I saw Theo, you can see these are the children who, the behaviours are quite extreme at times,
totally.
right?
The pointy end.
But there's another end, right?
Yeah.
So there'll be parents out there that are just going, is this the naughty twos?
Yeah.
Or is this just, and where, and everyone's judgy, right? Or they're judgy that they think you're judgy and they're sort of going,
it's such a good point. It's something I think about a lot because in many ways I'm grateful that my daughter couldn't contain what was going on and it was very obvious, and so things had to be put in place. There are, for every Inez and every Theo, there are 10 kids that hold it together, that internalise their stress, and I don't know. I mean, in many cases, it comes out later, and with mental health issues in their late teens, early 20s,
because they haven't learned how to express, right?
Well,
they've not learned, but haven't been able to express themselves because it's so extreme. Well, they're concerned about how extreme, and I'm not normal, and so I've got to just keep this all inside.
Yeah,
and we can't do that, right?
No, well, we've all got a limit.
Theo and Inez let it all out.
Yeah, it was like, this is not working for me, and if throwing this desk hasn't told you that, then what else can I throw? Which is, it's terrible. But the changes in some cases that were made for Inez helped so many kids. And I think that's another problem that we're facing now. Everyone's like, everyone wants a label at the moment and everyone wants special treatment. And it's like pretty much all the things that help neurodivergent kids help all kids. So your neurotypical kid is not going to be at a disadvantage by some of the things that may be put in place in the classroom that would help my daughter.
Yeah. In fact, we're all slightly on a spectrum, aren't we? Well, we've all got personalities
absolutely.
and all the differences and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So more in there, that's, as you say, it's a great thing.
Yeah. I mean, so for example, to get an ADHD diagnosis, I don't know, I'm sort of making this up, but maybe you need 5 out of the 6.
Yeah.
I'd tick those off. If you have 4 out of the 6, you don't get a diagnosis, but those 4 challenges are still very real for you. But so it's not black and white. It's not like I'm over here with a diagnosis and everyone else is over there. It's, and I do worry about those people that are somewhere in the middle that don't have a diagnosis to kind of go, this is why I'm finding it hard. But also, are struggling in so many ways. It's such a massive topic, Paula, and I'm trying to generalise, but then go,
Yeah. And for some parents out there as well, they will be thinking, what's the kind of level of help they can get, because you just talk about the struggles of, you might have got the diagnosis and you can talk to every counsellor, but then who's helping you at home? No one.
It is insane. It was terrifying. There is nothing. Yeah, we got a diagnosis. We paid to go private. I don't know if the first diagnosis was even right. But anyway, you're sent out of there. And I thought, there'll be a plan. There'll be a something. There's nothing. You get a pamphlet. And it's like, well, what do I do now? And no one, every step of the way, you have to navigate yourself in a world you know nothing about. And really the biggest support and the best advice I got was from other parents.
Yeah, I bet.
You know?
I've tried this and it kind of worked, or I've tried that and it didn't work.
There's an educational psychologist, or there's, also you get from other parents that have been through it, the understanding.
Yeah.
Which you need. You need to know that you're not the only family in the world going through this.
Yeah. Because you say unless you've kind of been through it, you can't understand how their brains are working and all that sort of thing. And I thought, yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Well, I completely can empathise and I can understand at a level, but, yeah, I haven't lived it. And so you can't pretend that you have either.
No, and I know that if it hadn't been for Inez, I mean, I think I'm a pretty understanding and open person, but I still, if a friend came to me and said, oh, my kid's doing whatever, there would be that little part of me that would go, oh, but are you making sure that you are, we do just sort of automatically go to the parents. What are the parents doing? What could they shift? What would we do if we were in that situation?
Yeah.
And, I can just say that, if it was as easy as the parents are the problem, then it's easily solved. But in saying that, the first thing that everyone is told to do is go on a parenting course.
Really?
Yeah. So always the parenting courses.
I've got someone that I know with the ADHD and the child's also got autism, and it's interesting. It's the autism that is the stigma and the it's like ADHD is kind of like I don't I get that I question it a little in myself at times but autism they just went wow the stigma and them that's quite
there's
different.
Something it's sort of crossing into alien territory and I guess too those Hollywood cliches like Rain Man and those other shows that we have this idea of what autism is. Plus, with autism, there can be the social struggles, and we're never quite sure how to be with people that communicate differently.
Yeah.
Even I'm interviewing a lot of autistic people at the moment, and I am sort of like, I'm not sure if I'm doing this quite right. We don't like to be uncomfortable, and so we go, oh, it's easier if I just don't bother.
But you can ask them, right?
Yeah, and you won't get it right all the time. I mean, I'm fascinated by it. I want to know what is going on in their minds. I feel like if we asked the people that we talk about so much what their experience is like, it would help to understand it. But we talk about them, not to them. So that's what the podcast is about. But yes, the other complicated thing with an autism ADHD profile, which is very common, is you've got a brain that's kind of in conflict with itself. It wants structure, it wants routine, it wants everything to be the same, but it wants novelty and it's just a bit disorganised and it just needs to go. And it's just, when you talk to kids and adults with that profile, you can see it, constant like back and forth and... Yeah. So to parents out there who suspect that their child might have ADHD or some sort of neurodiversity, or they have recently been diagnosed, as you also always say, I mean, they can be the brightest kids in the world. And you have got a journey ahead, and it may not always be a nice smooth path and easy, and there's not a nice little written recipe for how we're going to roll this out. But they're beautiful, aren't they? And they think differently. And yeah, they are. And it is hard. It is so hard in so many ways and unique to everybody. But it's also a great privilege, I think. I feel completely changed by having Inez. And Tandy, my other daughter. But
I was going to ask about her.
Oh, little Teets, yeah. She's a neurotypical. She's just one of those really quiet, shy kids.
Is she?
Yeah. But she's, twins and then, yeah.
And you've got to be conscious, right? Because Inez had high needs.
Yeah,
right?
And that's something we're now going through. Tandy missed out on a lot. And our home environment was very volatile at times, and she was the target a lot of times. So there's a lot around that we now have to address. And you do your best at the time, but you're human.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, there's only so much you can do in a day.
Yeah.
Like that's the reality as well.
Yeah. Was there a question? Sorry, I don't know if I answered the question.
Well, I was just sort of interested in that kind of family life. And I suppose what I did want to do is give some of the parents hope that, just because you've got a diagnosis or you've got a child that's got some of the challenges of life, they're gorgeous kids that you can get through.
Yeah. And I think for most people, it's those the younger years are the hardest. And if you can kind of get through that, their brains are always developing, and well, for us at least it got easier. For a lot it gets easier. But you're not alone. That's a really important point that I try and drive home. It feels very isolating. You feel like you're the only one with the kid who won't go to school, or the kid that can't wear socks and shoes, part of their uniform, or whatever it is, and you're not. It's just, we have the society that sort of encourages us not to talk about that sort of stuff.
And, I mean, with other schools cut out for it. I mean, I was quite impressed when I was watching in preparation for this. I went back and watched, and I just sort of thought that even Theo, they sort of accepted he wasn't going to stay at school all day. And actually him even going for an hour a day was better than not going at all at some level.
Yeah.
But then again, he's stood
not
down
at school
and
anymore.
He stood down. He's expelled.
School just doesn't. A classroom environment doesn't work for Theo and for lots of kids. But really, he just can't do it. He is so bright, that kid. He is so bright, so talented. But ADHD, autistic brain. There's just so much going on. Are our schools cut out? I don't want to be negative, and I know teachers do the absolute best they can, but I think we are at a point where we have to just look at completely reworking the system. And I know that's not easy, but it's just not working for so many kids.
So many.
I mean, I read some stats that 15% of kids actually thrive in the current education system. Most just can get through, but it doesn't, it's hard for them. And we've got all this talk about, the problems with truancy at the moment, and it's like, why aren't we making it somewhere they want to go?
Yeah.
Then they'd go.
Yeah.
Like the consequences, like fining parents. I mean, I'd have to take out a second mortgage if that was in place. It is not it's physically impossible to get a kid over about 7 to somewhere they don't want to go. And I think,
and yet again, we're blaming the parents.
They're blaming the parents. Yeah, let's find the parents. I mean, that is so freaking triggering to me. But anyway, I get it, because it's like that seems like an easy solution, but it's just missing the whole point.
Yeah. That it's not straightforward, that there's not really any such thing as normal.
And then we have to kind of go ask the kids, what is it about school that makes you not want to go there?
Yeah. So we're diagnosing a lot more now. Is that what's happening? So we don't necessarily have more neurodiversity.
No.
It's just that we are better at identifying it and diagnosing.
It's always, ADHD, if you look way back, I don't know how they know this, but I've talked to lots of experts and it pretty much hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But it hasn't gone away either.
Because, I was at primary school in the 70s, and if I looked back at it now, I would go, there's the group of naughty kids, as we would have called them there. There's the group that's this. And as you say...
The weird kids who might have been the autistic.
Yeah.
The so-called dumb kids.
Yeah.
They were the dyslexics.
Yeah.
I'm generalising again. But,
I know. But as you say, it was there 45... 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm 55.
Yeah.
So, so it was there then.
Yeah. We just we had different labels. That was, instead of autism, it was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and we do all like to look back, as you and I said off microphone before, and just have a nice rose-coloured of what our childhoods were like, and our parents do the same thing, and it's like, actually, were they? I don't think they were.
I don't think they were either. I think the thing was that there was a lot more, for kids that didn't fit in. They fell out of the school system quite early. We just didn't sort of see them. Or they could go into, the trades and stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of them end up in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, our prison cells are full of neurodivergent people, over half. Wow. So something
has to change, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how can we support both the children and the parents who are neurodivergent?
Compassion, kindness, leaving your biases at the door, which is really, really hard.
Yeah.
We might think we have, and then we'll come through the door and we'll be like, oh, well, if she just was feeding them chicken instead of those chicken nuggets, then, we pick at everything. And so it's just kind of leaving all that behind and saying, what can I do to help? What can I, or, what do you need?
Yeah.
Replacing that, instead of the judging, how can I help this situation?
Yeah. Take a breath and actually think of others and, be with them, I suppose. Sonia, podcast is called Ask Me Anything, and so far I have done a lot of asking, so this is your opportunity to ask me something if you would like to.
Okay, Paula, there's so much I could ask you. I was thinking about paninis and bowl lattes, but I want to go deeper. You were Minister of Police for a short time?
Yeah, relatively, about 18 months, I think.
And so I'm just thinking, there are ADHD, dyslexic people in our prison cells at crazy rates. The intersection with the justice system for neurodivergent people is huge. What do police know about how to communicate, how to approach, how to deal with people whose minds are wired differently?
But Sonia, it'd be the same as what you say about teachers. They get one lecture, that they don't. That's voluntary. They don't even compulsorily have to go in the whole of their training. And I would argue, so I can't speak to it because that's very operational as to how they train the police and what they do. But what I would say is, it's like, they are going to be dealing with people that are neurodiverse, that have got mental health issues, all the rest of it, and their ability and training around that is very limited. And I just have to be honest. And so then it's like any profession, if you like, you've just got a real range of personalities, a range of expertise. Heck, they've all got, many of them have got neurodiverse children, or so there's all of that in there, and you'll meet wonderful, and then you'll meet others that just kind of don't understand or even perhaps want to, which is awful, but they are actually representative of society as a whole.
Yeah,
and there's probably not that level of training and that level of understanding. But then we send people to courts and judges don't understand either, do they?
No, and then there's just that whole narrative of, you should know the consequences to your actions, and everyone knows right from wrong, and especially ADHD dyslexic people in our jails is so high. And I just look at my daughter and how she was, and I really was like, how do I stop the road that she's on? And we were lucky, but she could quite easily have gone in the other direction.
Yeah. But Sonia, are we even learning lessons, right? So, if I think about Taina Porter, and he had fetal alcohol syndrome, so different, very different. But he went to jail for something he didn't do because of how he interviewed effectively. I'm sorry, I'm not the expert on this, but you know what I mean, like because of how he presented and how he was unable to answer questions properly and all the rest of it. And have we learnt lessons from that as to how we treat people with differences or with neurodiversity? And I don't know the answer to that. But we've got a case that's, I've got a person that's right in front of us and has been through hell.
Yeah. Have we learnt anything? I think we do learn and then we forget again.
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier to go, well, you've got to be held accountable for your actions. I don't care, no excuses. But if we kind of take a step back and go, what was the issue surrounding this? And
I'm like you, how you said about our teachers. I'm the same with the police. I just will never put them down, and I just think, but they are, overworked and not given the level of support that they need, and that's the reality. And sometimes I bet it's just, okay, well, I don't have to deal with that now. and that person's moved on,
agree.
which is wrong. But it's
And
also we've got to be real, right?
Yeah. It's just, the amount of people that they're encountering that have these sort of different brains that, even sensory stuff that is hard for them. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the police that they don't get that training, because it's very hard to understand otherwise. It's a very big topic, isn't it, Paula? Very big. Yeah, and I think, I've got so much to say about this, Paula. This could be a series in itself. So I hope there's just so much to say. And I'm really aware that there are so many people suffering and we sort of don't see them and they don't feel that they can talk about it. And that's kind of, it's my mission, my kaupapa is to ease the suffering.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, and I mean it. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for talking about it. Thanks for all the help that it does give all those parents and people out there because they genuinely need it, right? And they need to know that they're not alone.
Not alone.
No.
And that we're fighting. We're fighting for you.
And they're wonderful,
make lives better.
Their wonderful, chaotic households and lives can actually get better and there's good times. And So, season 2 of No Such Thing as Normal will be out on Saturday, 6th of July. So that's exciting, with a new episode dropping every week. So they can find it on iHeartRadio or any podcast platform. And that's it for another episode of Ask Me Anything. You can get in touch with me by emailing askpaula@nzherald.co.nz. Feel free to send me through your questions. Find me on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. Make sure you follow Ask Me Anything on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Paula Bennett. Ask Me Anything. Goodbye.